we'll discuss. So in this lecture, we'll discuss about Go Back N Protocol GBM. So multiple packets must be in transition while the sender is waiting for acknowledgement. Okay, to improve the efficiency of transmission, that is to fill the pipe. We need to let more than one packet be outstanding to keep the channel busy while the sender is waiting for acknowledgement. That is, we need to let more than one packet be outstanding to keep the channel busy while the sending is waiting for acknowledgement. So is it clear? Waiting for acknowledgement. Is it clear? Okay. First protocol is the Go Back N protocol, which in short is called GBN. So key to Go Back N is that we can send several packets before receiving acknowledgements, but the receiver can only buffer one packet. So a copy of the sent packets is kept until the acknowledgements arrive. Then several data packets and acknowledgements can be in the channel at the same time. Next, sequence number. Sequence numbers are modulo 2 raised to m, where m is size of the sequence number filled in bits. Next, we'll see about acknowledgement numbers. So an acknowledgement number in this protocol is cumulative and defines the sequence number of the next packet expected. For example, if the acknowledgement number CK number is 7, it means all packets with sequence number up to 6 have arrived safe and sound, and they have arrived safe and sound, and the receiver is expecting the packet with sequence number 7. So you can see this is the outline of this protocol. You can see several data packets and acknowledgements can be in the channel at the same time. Several data packets and acknowledgements can be in the channel at the same time. So you can see here packet, acknowledgement, checksum packets. So many data packets and acknowledgements can be in the same side. Okay, so you can see sender, receiver, then packets, channel, then send window. This is called first outstanding. This is called next to send. This is timer. Then this is receive window or next to receive. So okay, is it clear? So now we'll see about send window. Okay. So we'll discuss about send window. It is an imaginary box covering. So it is an imaginary box covering the sequence numbers of the data packets that can be in transit or can be sent. In each window position, some of these sequence numbers define the packets that have been sent. Others define those that can be others define those that have been sent. Okay. maximum size of maximum size of the window is 2 raised to m minus 1. We let the size be fixed and set to the maximum value. Maximum size of the window is 2 raised to m minus 1. We let the size be fixed and set. Okay. We let the size be fixed and set to the maximum value. Some protocols may have a variable window size. So figure shows a sliding window of size 7. You can see here, no? You can see here sliding window of size 7 where m is 3. M is 3 means 2 raised to 3 minus 1 is 7. So 0 to 6. 7 for Go Back N protocol. Then send window at any time divides the possible sequence number into 4 regions. So you can see 4 regions, no? Left of window is one region, colored region, white region, right of window. So we'll see that. First region. So first region is here shown by 6 and 7. Left of the window, this is a first region, 6 and 17 here. Okay. Left of window, which defines the sequence numbers belonging to packets that are already acknowledged. Sender does not worry about these packets and keeps no copies of them. Second region is colored. So you can see this colored, no? This colored. Okay. Second region is colored, which defines a range of sequence numbers belonging to the packets that have been sent but have an unknown status. Sender needs to wait to find out if these packets have been received or were lost and are called outstanding packets. Third region, white. So you can see here, this is white. Third region, white, which defines the range of sequence numbers for packets that can be sent. However, the corresponding data have not yet been received from the application layer. Fourth region is right of window. You can see here, this is the fourth region. Right of window defines sequence number that cannot be used until window slides. So the window itself, it is considered as an abstraction. 3 variables define its size and location at any time. These variables Sj, send window, first outstanding packet, Sn, send window, next packet to be sent, and S size, send window size. The variable Sj defines the sequence number of the first packet. So variable Sj defines the sequence number of the first packet. You can see Sj, no, here. Here you can see Sj. You can see here Sj. Sj, okay, Sj, Sj, send window first outstanding packet, Sn. You can see here Sn. You can see Sn. Sn, send window, next packet to be sent, and S size. You can see here S size. You can see Sj, Sn, S size. S size, okay, which has been send window size. Okay, send window, next send window size. The variable Sj defines the sequence number of the first, that is oldest outstanding packet. Variable Sn holds the sequence number that will be assigned to the next packet to be sent. Variable size defines the size of window fixed in our protocol. Send window is an abstract concept defining an imaginary box of maximum size 2 raised to m-1 with 3 variables, SF, Sn and S size. Figure shows how a send window can slide one or more slots to the right when an acknowledgement arrives from the other end. An acknowledgement with acknowledgement equal to 6 has arrived. Receiver is waiting for packets with sequence number 6. So here you can see window before sliding. Window before sliding. So first outstanding packets are 4, 5, 6, 7. Next to send is 0 before sliding. Now window after sliding, an acknowledgement with acknowledgement number equal to 6 has arrived. 6 has arrived. So 6 is first outstanding, 7. Next to send is 0. So okay. So sliding the window sequence number. Next, receive window. Okay. So you can see here receive window. Now we'll say about receive window. This makes sure that the correct data packets are received and that the correct acknowledgements are sent. In go back N, size of the receive window is always 1. Receiver is always looking for the arrival of a specific packet. Any packet arriving out of order is discarded and needs to be resent. So the figure shows the receive window. Okay. Figure shows the receive window. You can see the figure receive window, which has been shown with R size equal to 1 because it is the size of one packet. Then already received and cannot be received further. Receive window for go back and protocol shows the receive window. So we need only one variable Rn, receive window, that is next packet expected. So we need here, you can see only one variable, no? Rn. Okay. Receive window next packet expected to define this abstraction. Sequence numbers to the left of the window belong to the packets already received and acknowledged. Sequence numbers to the right of this window defines the packets that cannot be received. Any received packet with a sequence number in these two regions is discarded. Only a packet with a sequence number matching the value of Rn is accepted and acknowledgement. Receive window also slides, but only one slot at a time. When a correct packet is received, the window slides. So Rn will become equal to Rn plus 1 mod 2 raised to m. This receive window is an abstract concept defining an imaginary box of size 1 with a single variable Rn. Window slides when a correct packet has received. Sliding occurs one slot at a time. One slot at a time. When a correct packet is received, then window slides Rn is equal to Rn plus 1 modulo 2 raised. This receive window is an abstract concept defining an imaginary box of size 1 with a single variable Rn. Window slides when a correct packet is arrived. Sliding occurs one slot at a time. So you can see one slot at a time. So next we'll see about timers. There can be a timer for each packet that is sent. In our protocol, we use only one. The reason is timer for the first outstanding packet always expires first. Resend all outstanding packets when this timer expires. Then resending packets. The sender resends all outstanding packets. For example, suppose the sender has already sent packet 6. Sn is equal to 7, but the only timer expires. If SF is equal to 3, for example, suppose the sender has already sent packet 6, then Sn is equal to 7, but the only timer expires. If SF is equal to 3, means that packets 3, 4, 5 and 6 have not been acknowledged. So if SF is equal to 3, what does it mean? That packets 3, 4, 5, 6 have not acknowledged. Okay. Sender goes back and resends packet 3, 4, 5 and 6. Due to this, protocol is called go back and one on a timeout. Machine goes back and locations and resends all packet. Okay. Is it clear? Now we'll see finite state machine for go back N protocol. Okay. We'll see the diagram. So this is the diagram illustrating the finite state machine for go back N protocol. You can see here. This not all arithmetic equations are in model 2 raised to m. Timeout. Okay. Windows as this all has been defined. Blocking ready. Slide window, discard, timeout, request. This is all. Okay. You can see here. This is for receiver. This is for receiver, finite state machine for go back N protocol receiver. Okay, you can see. Now we'll see about this finite state machine. First we'll go for sender. We'll go for sender. Okay, the sender starts in the ready state, but thereafter it can be in one of the two states, ready or blocking. The two variables are normally initialized to 0, SF and SN equal to 0. Ready state. 4 events may occur when the sender is in ready state. First one, if a request comes from the application layer, the sender creates a packet with the sequence number set to SN. A copy of the packet is stored and the packet is sent. The sender also starts the only timer if it is not running. The value of SN is now incremented. So SN will become equal to SN plus 1 modulo 2 raised to m. If the window is full, SN will become equal to SF plus S size into modulo 2 raised to m. The sender goes to the blocking state. Second is, if an error-free acknowledgement arrives with acknowledgement number related to one of the outstanding packets, the sender slides the window set SF is equal to acknowledgement number, and if all outstanding packets are acknowledged, acknowledgement number is equal to SN, then the timer is stopped. If all outstanding packets are not acknowledged, the timer is restarted. Okay, restarted. Next is, if a corrupted acknowledgement or an error free acknowledgement not related to outstanding packet arrives, it is discarded. If a timeout occurs, the sender resends all outstanding packets and restarts the timer. Next we'll go for blocking state. So this is what I'm talking about, finite state machine for sender is over. Now it will go for blocking state. Okay, 3 events may occur in the blocking state in this case. First, if an error-free acknowledgement arrives with acknowledgement number related to one of the outstanding packets, the sender slides the window. Set SF is equal to acknowledgement number, and if all outstanding packets are acknowledged, then acknowledgement number is equal to SN. Then the timer is stopped. If all outstanding packets are not acknowledged, timer is restarted. The sender then moves to the ready state. Next, if a corrupted acknowledgement or an error-free acknowledgement with acknowledgement number not related to the outstanding packet arrives, the acknowledgement is discarded. See, if a timeout occurs, the sender sends all outstanding packets and restarts the timer. So this is regarding blocking. Next we'll see receiver. The receiver is always in the ready state. The only variable Rn is initialized to 0. 3 events may occur. 1. If an error-free packet with sequence number equal to Rn arrives, the message in the packet is delivered, okay, to the application layer. The window then slides. Rn will become equal to Rn plus 1 modulo 2 raised to discarded, but an acknowledgement number is equal to Rn is sent. Okay, I was talking about first we'll see, if an error-free packet with sequence number is equal to Rn arrives, the message in the packet is delivered to the application layer. The window then slides. Rn will become equal to Rn plus 1 modulo 2 raised to m. Finally, an acknowledgement with sent with acknowledgement number equal to Rn. B. If an error-free packet with sequence number outside the window arrives, the packet is discarded, but an acknowledgement with acknowledgement number equal to Rn is sent. See, if a corrupted packet arrives, it is discarded. So send window size. So this is the send window size for go back N protocol. We'll discuss about this. Now we have to show why the size of the send window must be less than 2 raised to m. As an example, we choose m is equal to 2, which means the size of the window can be 2 raised to m minus 1, which is 3. 2 raised to 2 minus 1 is 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, so this figure show, shown compares a window size of 3 against a window size of 4. Okay, compares a window size of 3 against window size. If the size of window is 3, if the size of window is 3 less than 2 raised to m. So here it is shown. If the size of the window is 3 less than 2 raised to m, and all 3 acknowledgements are lost, the only timer expires and all 3 packets are resent. Okay, resent. So you can see a resent. No? All the acknowledgements are lost, the only timer expires and all 3 packets are resent. The receiver is now expecting packet 3, not packet 0. So the duplicate packet is correctly discarded. On the other hand, if the size of window is 4 equal to 2 raised to 2 and all acknowledgements are lost, the sender will send a duplicate of packet 0. However, this time the window of the receiver expects to receive packet 0. So it accepts packet 0 not as a duplicate but as a first packet in the next cycle. This is an error. So this shows the size of send window must be less than 2 raised to m. So that is why size of window should be less than 2 raised to m. Because, okay, you can see, but as a first, you can see here. You can see 3. Here you can see 0. Delivered as new data. Okay. So they may ask in the exam why the send window size must be less than 2 raised to m. So this shows that the size of send window must be less than 2 raised to m. Okay. This example shows an example of go back N. This is an example of a case when the forward channel is reliable but the reverse is not. No data packets are lost but some acknowledgements are delayed and one is lost. So the example also shows how cumulative acknowledgements can help if acknowledgements are delayed or lost. Okay, so after initialization there are some sender events. Request events are triggered by message chunks from the application layer. Arrival events are triggered by acknowledgements received from the net. There is no timeout event here because all outstanding packets are acknowledged before the timer expires. Note that although ACK2, you can see here, no? ACK2 is lost. ACK2 is lost. Acknowledgement 3 is cumulative and serves as both ACK and ACK3. So there are 4 events at the receiver side. So you can see. So this figure is going to show what happens when a packet is lost. Packets 0, 1, 2 and 3 are sent. However, packet 1 is lost. You can see packet 1 has been lost. Here it's written, no? Packet 1 lost. Packet 1 lost. Packet 1 lost. The receiver receives packet 2 and 3 but they are discarded because they are received out of order. Packet 1 is expected. When the receiver receives packet 2 and 3, it sends ACK1 to show that it expects to receive packet 1. However, these ACKs are not useful for the sender because the acknowledgement number is equal to SF, not greater than SF. So the sender discards them. When the timeout occurs, the sender resends packet 1, 2, 3 and which are acknowledged. So now we'll see about go back N versus stop and wait protocol. So whatever is this, so we may find out similarity between go back N and stop and wait protocol. The stop and wait protocol is actually a go back N protocol in which there are only two sequence numbers and the send window size is 1. In other words, we can say m is equal to 1 and 2 raised to m minus 1 is equal to 1. Okay. In go back N we said that the arithmetic is modulo 2 raised to m. In stop and wait it is modulo 2, which is same as 2 raised to m when is m is equal to 1. Next we'll see about selective repeat protocol. So this is outline of selective repeat protocol. So go back N protocol simplifies the process at the receiver. The receiver keeps the track of only one variable and there is no need to buffer out of order packets. They are simply discarded. The protocol is inefficient if the underlying network protocol loses a lot of packets. Each time a single packet is lost or corrupted, sender resends all outstanding packets even though some of these packets may have been received safe and sound but out of order. The resending of all of these outstanding packets makes the congestion worse and eventually more packets are lost. It may result in the total collapse of the network because it has an avalanche effect. So another protocol called selective repeat SR protocol, as the name implies, resends only selective packets, those that are actually lost. So the outline of this selective repeat has been shown. So you can see. This is the outline of the selective repeat protocol. So I'll repeat. This go back N protocol simplifies the process at the receiver. The receiver keeps track of only one variable and there is no need to buffer out of order packets. They are simply so this protocol is inefficient. That is go back N if the underlying network protocol loses a lot of packets. So each time a single packet is lost or corrupted, sender resends all outstanding packets even though some of these packets may have been received safe and sound but out of order. The resending of all of these outstanding packets makes the congestion worse and eventually more packets are lost. It may result in the total collapse of the network because it has an avalanche effect. So another protocol called selective repeat SR protocol, as the name implies, resends only selective packets, those that are actually lost. So outline is as shown. So I'll stop here. You read about this. In next lecture I'll continue about the windows.